Good day, everyone. Today, we will dive into the world of pumps, a fundamental yet often overlooked component in numerous applications. From providing water in our homes to enabling complex industrial processes, pumps are the silent powerhouses that ensure the smooth operation of countless systems. So, imagine a world without pumps. There would be no running water in our homes, no irrigation systems for our agriculture, and no efficient fuel delivery for our vehicles. Our daily lives, industrial activities, and even emergency services rely heavily on the seamless functioning of these mechanical marvels. So, in this presentation, we will explore the various types of pumps, their working principles, and their pivotal role across different sectors. So, by the end of this session, we will gain a deeper appreciation for these indispensable devices and understand why pumps truly are the driving force behind modern systems. So, first question, what is pump? So, it is a device that moves liquids or gases by mechanical actions. So, pumps are used to move fluids from one point to another. So, this can include moving water for irrigation, pumping oil or gas for transportation or industrial processes, moving air in vacuum cleaners, and many other applications. Pumps are essential in many industries and are used in a wide range of applications. So we'll now go to the types of pumps. So there are two types of pumps. One is positive displacement pumps, and the second one is dynamic pumps. So in positive displacement pumps, we have two kinds, which is rotary and reciprocating. So in rotary, there are three kinds, which is gear, screw, and rotary vane. While in reciprocating, there is three kinds also, which are plunger, diaphragm, and piston. So we'll now go to dynamic pumps. There are two kinds also, the centrifugal and special. So in centrifugal, we have axial flow, radial flow, and mix. So in special, we have cantilever, jet pump, and turbine pump. So all of this that I stated earlier will be discussed more thoroughly throughout the presentation. So in positive displacement pump, it works by trapping a fixed amount of fluid and then forcing that trapped volume into the discharge pipe. So think of like filling a cup with water and then pouring the water into a pipe. So every time the pump operates, it traps the same amount of fluids and moves it along. So what's fascinating about this pump is that they can theoretically produce the same rate of the given speed no matter what the discharge pressure is. So this means if the pump is running at a constant speed, it will deliver a constant amount of fluid regardless of how much resistance or pressure it faces in the discharge pipe. So this this is why positive displacement pump are often called constant flow machines. So here is a simple analogy. Imagine you're using a hand pump to fill a balloon. Every stroke of the pump traps a certain amount of air and pushes it into the balloon. So no matter how much the balloon resists due to the air pressure inside it, each stroke of the pump will push the same amount of air as long as you pump at the same speed. So positive displacement pumps are used in many applications where a steady, reliable inflow is needed, such as in oil and gas pipelines, chemical processing, and even in medical devices. So we will now go to rotary pumps. So in rotary pumps, uh, are a type of positive displacement pump where for each revolution a fixed volume of fluid is moved. So these pumps are self-reaming and provide near constant delivery capacity no matter the pressure. So these pumps are designed with very small clearance, tong clearance na to, between its rotating and stationary parts in order to minimize leakage from the discharge side to the suction side, as they are designed to operate at relatively slow speeds to maintain this clearance. When operated at higher speed, they are susceptible to erosion and excessive wear, which result in larger clearances and decrease in pumping capacity. So, rotary pumps are commonly used for pumping high viscosity liquids such as oil, including in handling lube or fuel oil in engine rooms. So there's three characteristics of rotary pumps. So in his discharge, it is low. In his head, it is low, and speed, low speed. So next is reciprocating pumps in positive displacement pumps. So in here, it uses a piston and cylinder arrangement with suction and discharge valves integrating into the pump, commonly used as a boiler feed pump for steam and can be double acting or single acting. So dito makikita nyo naman sa uh, GIF kung paano ito gumagalaw. Ganyan. And then, so in suction part niya, when the piston moves back, it creates a vacuum that pulls fluid into the cylinder through a suction valve. So sa discharge na naman, when the piston moves forward, it pushes the fluid out of the cylinder through a discharge valve. So sabi nga dito, piston pumps can be either single acting or double acting. So in single acting, the pump moves fluid only during one part of the piston cycle, either forward or backward. So yung double acting naman, the pump moves fluid during both parts of the piston cycle, both forward and backward. So sabi nga dito, these pumps are commonly used as boiler feed pumps for steam engines. So in this application, they pump water into the boiler to produce steam, which then power generates engines or turbines. So the reliability and efficiency of piston pumps make them ideal for this purpose. So it has three characteristic also. So it has a discharge of low, ahead of high, and a speed of low. So sa centrifugal pumps naman or yung mga dynamic pumps, so these types of pumps generate high rotational velocities and then convert the resulting kinetic energy of the liquid to pressure energy. So it contains impeller and casting. So ito sa centrifugal pumps, so it moves the liquids by generating high rotational speed and converting that speed into pressure. So sa centrifugal pumps naman or yung mga dynamic pumps, so ito, a centrifugal pumps moves liquids by generating high rotational speeds and converting that speed into pressure. So at the heart of a centrifugal pump is an impeller, a rotating component with blades when the pump is turned on. So the impeller spins rapidly. So as the impeller spins, it creates a high rotational velocities. So this action imparts kinetic energy to the liquid inside the pump. So the fast-moving liquid is then directed to the outer edges of the impeller and into the pump casing. So the pump casing is designed to capture this kinetic energy and convert it into the pressure energy. So as the liquid slows down in the casing, the kinetic energy is transformed into pressure, so which forces the liquid out of the pump and into the discharge pipe. So isipin na lang natin ito na isang cup of water with a spoon. So as you stir faster, the water moves more quickly and gaining energy. So if you direct the fast moving water into a spout, it will shoot out with the more force due to the build of pressure. So centrifugal pumps are essential in many applications because they can handle large volumes of liquids and generate high pressures efficiently. So they are commonly used in water supply system, industrial processes, and HVAC systems.
We have a characteristic. First, the discharge, which is very high. The pressure head is low, and the speed or the pump speed is high. We have different types of centrifugal pump. We have radial. In radial, discharge radially or tangentially along the outer radius of the pump casting. It has 90 degrees turn to outward. In the radial flow centrifugal pump, the fluid enters at the center of impeller and is discharged radially. It has characteristic of perpendicular to the shaft and it has a high pressure output. It is suitable for high pressure application with relative low flow rates. This type of centrifugal pump might used in the boiler feed system to pump water into the boiler at high pressure. In the axial flow, we have a fluid enter and leaves actually. It is also parallel. In the axial flow centrifugal pump, the fluid moves parallel to the pump shaft, similar to the way a propeller works. It has a lower pressure compared to the radial pumps. It is ideal for applications requiring high flow rates with low pressure rise. It is also often used in flood control, irrigation, sewage treatment plants, where large volumes of fluid needed to move. Next is mixed flow, which intermediate between radial and axial, some angle between radially and axially. This type of centrifugal pump combines feature of both radial and axial flow pumps. The fluid enters the impeller axially, is discharged at the angle, combining both radial and axial flow characteristics. So, this application is versatile and suitable, such as cooling water pumps and industrial processes. It is also used in water treatment plants where balance between high flow rates and moderate pressure is needed. Next, we're going to differentiate the positive displacement pump and centrifugal pump. First, on their working mechanism. On the positive displacement pump, they pull fluid into a compartment at the inlet and move it to an outlet for discharge using a rotary, reciprocating, or diaphragm method to move the fluid. While centrifugal pump, an impeller rotates in the housing, reducing pressure at the inlet. This brings fluid to the outside of the pump's housing, increasing the pressure enough to push it out of the discharge. Next is the flow rate. In the flow rate of positive displacement pump is fixed. They will move fluid at the same speed regardless of pressure in the inlet. While the centrifugal pump has a variable flow rate, they will move fluid at different speeds depending on the pressure. While on the viscosity, on the positive displacement pump has a high viscosity fluids run more efficiently with lower energy cost, while on the centrifugal pump, lower viscosity fluid of up to 850 centistoke do well. While under application, do well in complex applications like those involving suction lift, they create a vacuum on the inlet and can reach vacuums of 25 to 28 inches mercury, a great choice for the lift. While on the centrifugal pump, a simple application like water pump at 1000 GPM with no back pressure. They are cheap and efficient. Some self-priming pumps can lift liquid to 13-inch mercury vacuum. While on the pressure, positive displacement pump operates from 250 psi to 3000 psi and gets more efficient in higher pressure. While on the centrifugal pump, best for low pressure application but can be run in series to boost pressure.
Good day, guys. For this section, I will be discussing the different hydraulic variables. Ano ba tong mga hydraulic variables? Ang mga hydraulic variables ay yung mga measurable at quantifiable na karakteristik ng isang hydraulic system. Nagpro-provide din ang mga hydraulic variables ng iba't ibang foundational knowledge sa iba't ibang variable factor na pwedeng maka-affect sa performance ng isang hydraulic system. Meron tayong tatlong hydraulic variables. First, we have the head. Next is we have the capacity. And lastly, we have the efficiency. Let us discuss first the hydraulic variable head. The head is simply a pressure unit that is commonly used in hydraulic engineering and express siya in terms of feet or meter. May 4 na klase ng head. Una dyan is the friction head. We also have the static head, the pressure head, and lastly, the velocity head. Friction head. Ito yung required na head na dapat i-overcome ng fluid para mag-flow sa mga pipe and fittings. And meron siyang formula na HF is equal to 2F LV squared all over dg, na kung saan yung F ay yung Darcy friction factor. Yung L naman is the length of the pipe, V is the velocity, T is the diameter of the pipe, and G is the gravitational acceleration. Next is we have the static head or potential head. Ito naman yung height ng water surface above the gauge point or yung base. And equal siya sa say sub 1 minus say sub O. Wherein yung say sub 1 ay yung height ng water surface from the ground, and yung say sub O naman ay yung gauge point. Next is we have the pressure head. Ito naman yung measurement ng height difference between the fluid being moved and the discharge point. And equal siya sa P sub 1 minus P sub O all over gamma. P sub O is the pressure of the fluid, and P sub 1 naman is the pressure at the discharge point. And ang gamma naman is the specific weight or the flow or the density multiplied by gravitational acceleration. And lastly, we have the velocity head. Ito naman yung required na head para makapag-produce ng flow of fluid, and equal siya sa B squared divided by 2G. Wherein yung V is the velocity and G is the gravitational acceleration. Next na hydraulic variable naman is we have the capacity. The capacity of a pump is the amount of liquid conveyed per unit time. Sa madaling salita guys, ang capacity ng isang pump ay in terms of the volumetric flow rate. Pwede din natin siyang tawagin na flow rate or discharge rate. And 'di ba ang formula for volumetric flow rate ay velocity multiplied by area. So ang unit ng capacity of a pump, kung sa English system we have the GPM or the gallon per unit. And then kapag sa metric system naman, pwede siyang liter per minute or per seconds, or pwede ding meter cube per seconds. And denoted siya by big letter Q. Para sa last na hydraulic variable, we have the efficiency. Ang efficiency ay ratio ng output power sa input power. Physically, efficiency describe or measure yung mga losses ng isang system. Kung alam nyo yung law of conservation of energy, para siyang contradictory dito, di ba? Pero in a real world kasi, lahat ng physical system ay may mga inherent na losses. So that being said, kapag mas malaki yung efficiency, mas okay yung pump. Kasi wala siyang masyadong system losses. Pero it will never reach 100%. Kasi wala namang perfect na system, lahat may losses.
Okay, so for this section, we will discuss the rotational variables found in pumps, centrifugal pump, axial pump, or any pump na pwede natin gamitin. Specifically, we will define the definitions of the power, rotation speed, and impeller diameter. Mamaya sa affinity laws, malalaman natin on how these variables are interconnected. Now, what will happen if there's a change in one variable? What will happen to the other variable? For example, nag-change si speed, nag-increase or nag-decrease, what will happen to the power? What will happen to the head? And what will happen to the flow rate? Mga ganun. Mamaya sa affinity laws. Dito sa section na to, i-define lang natin yung mga variables na to. So first, we have the power. So in physics, power is defined as work per unit time. In the field of engineering, power is defined as the ability to do work. Units for power are the horsepower and the kilowatt. So these units are very familiar when you are studying electrical engineering. 1 horsepower is equals to 746 watts. With centrifugal pumps, we deal with the former. The unit of horsepower is commonly used interchangeably with and taken to mean the variable of power. Kasi sa mga binibili nating pumps, motors, gano'n, fuel pump, may mga nameplate yan. Sa nameplate, naka-indicate doon yung power output, yung frequency, yung terminal voltage, pa ba? Yung speed. Wherein, ito yung magiging guide ni user, ni operator, ni buyer para mas maging efficient yung paggamit niya sa nabili niyang equipment. Okay? So let's define there are 3 types of power. A, hydraulic horsepower, B, brake horsepower, and C, motor horsepower. We will differentiate these 3. So for hydraulic horsepower, sometimes referred to as the water horsepower, is the power imparted to the liquid by the pump. Take note, now the imparted liquid by the pump. It is defined by the following formula. Work horsepower is equals to the flow rate times the head QH over 3960, wherein dapat yung Q natin is naka-GPM or gallons per minute at yung head natin is in feet. So, if for example, nabigyan tayo ng flow rate na naka-cubic meter per second, kailangan pa nating convert yun sa GPM para magamit tong formula na to. So, if we will compare this formula sa nakasanayan natin, wherein ang efficiency is equals to the output power over the input power. Tama? We will compare si P out, basically the water horsepower. Okay? So, brake horsepower, pinagkaiba nito sa water horsepower, the power delivered to the pump shaft. Kung kanina, power delivered to the water, dito naman pump shaft is known as the brake horsepower, and it is defined by the following formula. Brake horsepower is the QH over 3960 at merong isang variable na which is the efficiency or the hydraulic efficiency expressed in decimal fraction. Again, dapat yung Q natin is naka-GPM at yung head is naka-feet before using this formula. So if we will compare this, yung nakasanayan nating formula na efficiency is equals to the P out, power output over the P in, cross multiply, lagay natin si P in dito, P out over the efficiency. So basically, yung brake horsepower is the P input. So pwede nating i-conclude na yung brake horsepower is the power before yung mga losses. Kasi sa centrifugal pump naman kasi, hindi mawawala pa rin yung mga resistances na present doon. At may mga losses pa rin. Hindi magiging 100% efficient yung pag-transfer ng power. Okay? Law of thermodynamics. So, law of thermodynamics. So for rotational speed is the scalar quantity of the dynamics term as the angular velocity, the unit of revolutions per minute. Ito ay madalas na ginagamit kahit sa mga nameplate na indicate dun sa mga nagbibili is naka-RPM rin. Is used in conjunction with the speed. As stated above, centrifugal pumps are generally driven by AC induction motors and therefore have speed multiples at or near 60 depending on a consideration known as the slip factor. So ano tong slip factor? Slip factor is associated with the induction motors. So ang slip factor is the deviation or yung pagkakaiba from the theoretical speed to the actual speed. Kasi nga 'pag ginamit natin yung motor, kahit naka-indicate dun sa nameplate yung synchronous speed, kapag sinaksak natin yan due to many factors, yung actual speed is hindi siya magiging parehas dun sa mismong synchronous speed. Yun lang yung ginagamit sa slip factor. So, meron namang formula for slip factor na the synchronous speed minus the actual speed over the synchronous speed. Yan yung slip factor. And madalas, ang tawag dito, ang unit nito is in percentage unit. Inaano siya sa percentage. Variable frequency AC drives have gained in popularity and allow for variable pump speed and improve efficiencies. Speed is denoted by symbol N. So, may formula tayo para ma-discuss natin na maigi bakit sila gumagamit ng variable frequency AC drives. May formula tayo dito na the frequency is equals to the number of poles, ito, times the speed, which is in RPM or rev per minute, over 120. So sa motor natin, 'di ba, yung number of poles is naka-built-in na or naka-install na within the casing of the motor. So, practical ba na baguhin yung poles nun? Hindi, 'di ba? So, ang binabago nila is yung frequency. From the word itself, variable frequency AC drive. So, binabago nila yung frequency ng supply para mapabilis or mapabagal itong speed in RPM. Makikita nyo naman directly proportional naman 'tong tatlong ito. Okay? And important term na yung speed is denoted by the symbol N. Kung nag-aaral kayo ng EE, is madalas nagagamit rin yung symbol N sa transformer, yung number of turns. So, be careful lang dun. Okay? For impeller diameter naman, impeller diameter is the simplest variable to define. Construction na to ng centrifugal pump. Impellers are essentially these, makikita nyo dito. Essentially these with outwardly radiating vanes. Ito, yung sinasabi niyang outwardly radiating vanes, which when rotated impart the motive centrifugal hydraulic force to the fluid being pumped. The impeller is mounted on the pump shaft. Andito siya. Okay. Now, and within the pump's casing, ito yung casing. Okay. Centrifugal pump casing are fabricated to accept a given maximum impeller diameter, allowing for hydraulic clearance to facilitate fluid motion to the pump discharge point. So, common sense naman na dapat is mas maliit yung maximum impeller kaysa dun sa centrifugal pump casing natin kasi nga iikot yung impeller natin para makapag-flow ng fluid. Kung mas malaki yung impeller, sasayad dun sa mismong casing, hindi aandar yung mismong motor natin. So, dapat naka-match yung centrifugal pump casing natin dun sa size ng diameter, radius ng impeller, diameter ng impeller, para makapag-perform ng fluid motion to the discharge point. Impellers are manufactured in many styles, each with its own special attribute and function. Hindi lang ganito yung construction ng ating impeller, marami pang style na pwede nating i-search. So, impeller diameter is 2 times the distance of a line passing through the pump shaft center to the impeller periphery. Okay? So, next, na pwede nating makuha kapag bibili tayo ng pump is the pump performance curve. Maybe available sa internet or sa mismong pinagbibilhan natin. So, sa centrifugal pumps, basic parameters are plotted on manufacturer's performance curve. Inibigay ni manufacturer to. And the data generated is produced by conducting operational tests of the pump with water. The presentation of this parameter is somewhat standardized on a rectangular coordinate plane. Yan, coordinate plane. Okay? Makikita naman natin ito mamaya sa may picture naman mapapakita mamaya. The ordinate axis or the y-axis usually serve as a dual role of head and brake horsepower, while the abscissa or the x-axis accommodates the capacity or yung flow rate natin. So, performance curve are generated for constant speed and multiple impeller diameters. Makikita pa rin natin ito mamaya, represented as a family of essentially parallel decaying parabolic plot, characterize the relationship of head versus flow. Para mas maliwanagan tayo, andito yung example ng ating pump curve. Merong constant speed. So, based sa curve, may makikita tayong efficiency. So, nasan si efficiency? Andito. Ayan. Yan. Yan yung mga efficiency. Okay? Itong line na to, sinusundan siya ng efficiency. Line or curve. So BHP, ito. Big horsepower, dito. Makikita nyo na per brake horsepower, may curve rin siya. Na ganyan. Okay? Makikita rin natin dito yung impeller diameter. Ayan. Which is in inches. 7 inch, 7.5 inch, 8 inch. And nakamatch pa rin yan sa curve na nandito. Okay? Also, sa plot na to, available rin si NPSHR or what we call the net positive suction head required. So, nandito siya. Ayan. Itong line na to yung sinusundan ng NPSHR. So, sa net positive suction head required, ibang topic na to wherein dapat yung motor natin is mas mataas or dapat na-meet niya tong net positive suction head required para hindi siya mag-form ng cavitation or yung mga holes para hindi masira kagad yung pump. Okay? So, dito naman, as stated kanina sa ordinate or yung y-axis, andito yung total head in feet. And sa abscissa or the x-axis, we have the gallons per minute or yung capacity. So, basically, itong graph na to yung nagsasabi ng flow rate versus the head. Okay?
Now for affinity loss, there are two different sets. First is based on the diameter of the impeller, where D is equals to C, or the diameter is assigned as a constant. Next, for the second set, it depends on the speed, where N is equals to C, where the speed is assigned as a constant. For set 1, we have the volumetric flow rate is directly proportional to the speed. The head is directly proportional to the square of the speed. The power is directly proportional to the cube of the speed. With that said, we have Q1 over Q2 is equals to speed 1 over speed 2. Head 1 over head 2 is equal to the square of speed 1 over speed 2. Power 1 over power 2 is equal to the cube of speed 1 over speed 2. The second set, we have the volumetric flow rate is directly proportional to the cube of the diameter. The head is directly proportional to the square of the diameter. And the power is directly proportional to the diameter raised to 5. With that said, we have Q1 over Q2 is equals to the cube of diameter 1 over diameter 2. Head 1 over head 2 is equals to the square of diameter 1 over diameter 2. And in terms of power, we have power 1 divided by power 2 is equals to diameter 1 over diameter 2 raised to 5. Now, if parehas na nag-vary in terms of value ng speed and diameter, like they both changed, we have Q1 over Q2 is equals to speed 1 over speed 2 multiplied by the cube of diameter 1 over diameter 2. In terms of head, we have head 1 over head 2 is equals to the square of speed 1 over speed 2 multiplied by the square of diameter 1 over diameter 2. In terms of power, we have power 1 over power 2 is equals to the cube of speed 1 over speed 2 multiplied by to the diameter 1 over diameter 2 raised to 5.
After explaining the affinity loss, we are going to solve a sample problem. On the question number 1, a centrifugal pump equipped with a variable frequency or speed drive running at 3,500 RPM is discharged 240 gallons per minute, corresponding with a head of 287 feet. The horsepower is 35.5. If the pump speed is reduced to 2,900 RPM, what will be revised flow rate, head, and power required? Before we're going to solve the problem, first, write the given on the problem. On the initial speed, we have 3,500 RPM, initial flow rate 240 GPM, initial head 287 feet, initial power 35.5 HP. While on the final speed, we have 2,900 RPM. Now, let's start solving the final flow rate. So we have an equation here. Q2 is equals to Q1 times quantity N2 over N1. Substitute those values and we are arriving on the final flow rate. We have 199 GPM. While on the final head, we have the equation H2 equals H1 times the quantity N2 over N1 squared. And substitute those values and we get the final head, 197 feet. And lastly, we have the equation P2 is equals to P1 times the quantity N2 over N1 cubed. Substitute those values and we can get the final power, 20.2 HP.
For the second problem, a 4x3 1,750 RPM centrifugal pump equipped with an 11-inch diameter impeller requires 14.3 bhp when delivering 300 GPM at a head of 111 feet. Predict the new capacity, head, and power required when the impeller diameter is reduced to 9 inches. So first thing first, we have to identify all the given. So given yung initial na diameter na equal sa 11 inches and yung new or yung bagong diameter na equal sa 9 inches. Given din yung initial na capacity na equal sa 300 GPM, yung head na equal sa 111 feet, and also the power na equal sa 14.3 HP. And para ma-compute yung bagong capacity, head, tsaka power, gagamitin natin yung second set na affinity loss. Kasi ina-assume natin na constant yung speed sa problem na to. So, para makuha yung bagong capacity, we have the formula Q1 multiplied by the quantity of D2 divided by D1 raised to 3. So, substitute natin yung mga given. 300, so, magiging 300 multiplied by the quantity of 9 all over 11 raised to 3. Calculating, makukuha natin yung bagong capacity na equal sa 164.3 GPM or gallon per minute. And para makuha naman yung bagong head, we have the formula na H1 multiplied by the quantity of D2 all over D1 raised to 2. And substitute natin ulit yung mga given. So magiging 111 multiplied by the quantity of 9 all over 11 raised to 2. Calculating, makukuha natin yung bagong head na equal sa 74.3 feet. And kunin naman natin yung bagong power. Meron siyang formula na P1 multiplied by the quantity of D2 all over D1 raised to 5. So, substitute ulit natin yung mga given. Meron magiging 14.3 multiplied by 9 or over 11 raised to 5. And calculating, yung bago nating power ay equal sa 5.24 HP.
For sample problem number 3, a centrifugal pump rotating at 1,200 revolutions per minute delivers flow of 55 liters per second to 27 meters of head. If the rotating speed is increased to 1,500 revolutions per minute and the impeller diameter is increased to 10%, compute the new flow and head. So the givens are speed 1, the volumetric flow rate 1, head 1, speed 2, and diameter 2, which is equals to 1.1 times the diameter 1 as mentioned to the problem. Let's proceed to the solutions. So the volumetric flow rate 2 is equals to Q1 multiplied by speed 2 over speed 1 multiplied by the cube of diameter 2 over diameter 1. Substituting the given values, you'll be getting 91.5663 liters per second. And for head 2, it is equal to head 1 multiplied to the square of speed 2 over speed 1 multiplied to the square of diameter 2 over diameter 1. And substituting the given values, we'll be getting 51.0469 meters.
So example number 4, an eggshell flow pump delivers 300 liters per second of water at a head of 6 meters when rotating at 2000 RPM. So if its efficiency is 80%, determine the HP of power the shaft delivers to the pump. If the same pump were operated at 2400 RPM, the efficiency would increase to 83%. Determine the head, the flow rate, and the power delivered by the shaft when it decreases at 2400 RPM. So you get the given. So the speed 1 or N1 is equal to 2000 RPM. The flow rate 1 is equal to 300 liter per second. So the efficiency of the first condition is 80%. The second speed is 2400 RPM. And the efficiency at 2400 RPM is 83%. So let's solve this problem. So to use the formula, brake horsepower is equal to flow rate multiplied by head divided by 3960 multiplied by efficiency. So we would like to convert the flow rate to gallons per minute and the head to feet. So to convert the 100 liter per second, we would like to convert the gallon to liter first. So in 1 gallon, it would be 3.785 liters. So we will convert the second to minute. So in 60 seconds, there is 1 minute. So the liters will cancel out and the seconds will cancel out. So if you multiply this, it will result in 4,755.61 gallons per minute. So dito naman sa head, so in 1 meter, there is 3.28 feet. So magkakancel tong unit na ito. So it will result in 19.68 feet. So sa unang power, multiply natin yung mga nakuha nating values na kinonvert natin sa GPM and sa feet. So 4,755.61 multiplied by 19.68 divided by 3,960 times 0.80. So it will result in 29.54 horsepower. So para makuha naman natin yung flow rate sa pangalawang condition ng speed is gagamitin natin yung affinity law. So dito yung flow rate na nauna kanina which is 4,755.61 multiplied natin sa speed ng second condition which is 2,400 divided by 2,000. So it will result in 5,706.732 gallons per minute. So sa head naman, yung unang head nakuha natin kanina, i-multiply natin dun sa ratio nung speed ng second condition and the speed of the first condition and square natin siya. So makukuha natin dito is 28.34 feet. And then para sa pangalawang power naman is kunin natin yung dalawang bagong flow rate at bagong head and then lagay natin sa formula ng brake horsepower. So dito 5,706.732 multiplied by 28.34 divided by 3,960 times 0.83. So it will result in 49.21 horsepower. So that's it for example number 4.
So for this slide, we have a sample problem for pump curve. We have a typical single-stage pump curve, which has a rating of 107.50 RPM. So using this chart, these are the questions that we will answer. For letter A, what is the total head of 5 HP pump with 350 gallons per minute? And what is the equivalent of this head in Pascal if the liquid pump is water? For letter B, that's using an 8-inch impeller diameter over 7-inch. Make it more efficient when it is flowing at 550 GPM. For letter C, what power of pump should if we want to attain a total head of 55 feet at 400 gallons per minute? So isa-isahin lang natin. For letter A, so natin. So from the question, hanapin na agad natin si 5 HP sa graph. So 5 HP, nasan yung curve niya? Andito. And for with 350 gallons per minute, hanapin daw natin yung head na may 5 HP na power and also magdi-deliver ng flow rate na 350 GPM. So nasan yung 350 GPM? Is in between 300 and 400. So ipa-plot ulit natin yon. Kuha na natin yung curve ng 5 HP. Next will be the 350 GPM. So ayan. And what is the equivalent of this head? So ipa-plot lang natin sa y-axis ng total head in feet. Nakita nyo sa left side. Their plotting, nasa range siya ng 30 and 40 is a work of approximation and estimation. Mas malapit siya sa 40. So may conclude nating head is 30 feet. Now, another question is what is the equivalent head of this pump in Pascal if yung liquid na ipapump niya is water? So we have a formula for computing the pressure in Pascal. When we say Pascal, Newton per meter square, makikita natin dito sa nakuha natin head is in 30 feet, which is in English unit. Kailangan pa natin convert ito sa meters. So formula for computing the pressure will be rho GH or the density multiplied by the gravity times the height in meters. So for the density, we are in the water is in normal condition, we will have 1,000 kilogram per meter cube times 9.81 times 38 convert lang sa meter. We will have a pressure of 113.65 kilopascal. For letter B, thus using an 8-inch impeller diameter over 7-inch make it more efficient when it's flowing at 550 gallons per minute. So sa graph, hanapin lang natin si 7-inch at 8-inch. So nasaan? Nandito sa 7-inch, dito si 8-inch. Nasaan si 550 GPM? Nasa gitna ng 500 and 600. I-plot lang natin yan. So makikita natin dito na when using an 7-inch impeller diameter, hindi aabot sa 550 GPM. But if we use an 8-inch impeller diameter, kaya niyang supplyan, kaya niyang makapag-produce ng flow rate na 500 GPM. So, we can conclude na it is efficient to use 8-inch impeller diameter because based on the graph, the pump with a 7-inch diameter impeller is not capable of delivering 550 GPM. Last question, we will have what power of pump should we want to attain a total head of 55 feet at 400 GPM. So, plot lang uli natin itong dalawang variables na to. We'll have for 400 GPM and 55 feet. So, for 55 feet, dito yan. For 400 GPM, dito. So, nasaan tumapat? Nasa 7.5 HP curve. So, we can conclude na we need to have a pump that has a power of 7.5 horsepower or higher to produce or to have when we have a total head of 55 feet at a flow rate of 400 GPM. And that's all. Thank you.